From eastern Germany back further north and west, the Northern Talent Cup has arrived at the classic TT circuit Assen in the Netherlands for round 4. Jakub Gorecki leads the standings following a stellar round 1 week ago at the Saxon Ring, taking a victory and narrowly missing out to Rossi Moore on the Sunday. A new challenge awaits here though in Assen, another circuit these riders are yet to contest aboard their NTC machines in 2021. A destination where many a dream has been achieved or dashed at the iconic GT chicane. So sit back, hold on to your seats, get ready for racing once again in the Northern Talent Cup. Hello and welcome to the TT Circuit Assen, where we've just had a very last minute downpour over the circuit. Well and truly wet conditions await the riders here today as we kick off with round 4, race 1 in the Northern Talent Cup. It's Rossi Moore on pole from Loris Veneman and Jakob Hoskuch taking off from 3rd position. Where is your series leader though? Jakub Gorecki? Well, we'll get on that into it in a minute's time. My name's Matt Dunn, alongside me as ever, Fran Wild. It's light rain. It's not really raining anymore. It's 24 degrees Celsius, but the track is well and truly wet. I have visions back to Le Mans, Fran. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
Definite visions back to Le Mans, isn't it? And with the same person on pole position as well, I'm sure his visions back to Le Mans a little bit more nervous than ours after his race didn't last too long on his debut. But this time around, he's starting from pole with a win under his belt. Finally, after such a rollercoaster first couple of rounds, Rossi Moore did take that victory in race 2 at the Saxon Ring, just beating Jakub Gorecki. And like you said in that intro, big headline in this race weekend now, because unfortunately the grid will decide both. For him, is he's down in 20th place on the grid. Yeah. Left it late in qualifying to set a lap, and then it rained. So,
However, good news for him though is he is extremely capable in conditions like this.
Yeah, if he's not religious, maybe he needs to consider it after the timing of that downpour, just in time for him to line up on the grid. Yeah, he's shown himself to be really a cut above most of the other guys on the grid in those conditions. He won by 20 seconds in the full wet at Oschersleben in one of the races. Really incredible performances from Gorecki, but these guys around him are no slouches either, and like you said, the rain has now stopped. We do have sun out. There we go though, the board confirming it is a wet race, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting one when you do have these conditions that tend to dry out, especially with this whole field hammering around this TT circuit Assen.
Yeah, quite right. It's 24 degrees Celsius, so the ambient air temperature is pretty warm indeed. But with the sun beating down and these, well, rather small tyres, it's not exactly like a MotoGP level of power going to the rear wheel, but it's still enough to cause a dry line, a bit like we saw in Le Mans. These conditions will get all the more tricky as the laps count down. 15 laps, 68.13 kilometres of racing await us here in the Northern Talent Cup today.
Is that quick maths? Or?
No, it's on the PDF right in front of me.
Yeah, so here's another man of interest then, Nicholas Kitzbaker. He's having a really good season so far here this year. Taking a real step forward has the Austrian, and yeah, really fought at the front last time out. It was only a 7th place at the end, which I think at the time me and then co-commentator Elliot York pointed out. In position, not actually his best, but he was right in that front group. It was a really good group fight in race 2 at the Saxon Ring, after we'd seen quite a few escapees at the front most of the time, Gorecki. So this is another man who's in that battle as well, Cas Beekmans, and he's on home turf. Could be one to watch here. Yeah, the highest place rider from the Netherlands in the Northern Talent Cup, the championship standings, up there into 5th position. But as thinking about the championship standings at the moment, there is your series leader, Jakub Gorecki, the number 59. Just behind him in the standings though, Lorenz Luciano, 98 points, so that is 42 points adrift from Gorecki. Rossi Moore is in 3rd, 68 points to his name. Then Jonas Kotarek in 4th position, just ahead of Cas Beekmans, who we were mentioning earlier. So quite a lead that Gorecki has going into the summer break here in the Northern Talent Cup.
Where is the next round? How far away is the next round? Is it as big a summer break as every other race, or no?
Yes, it's Styrian GP in the end, where we'll actually be joined as well by the Austrian Junior Cup on track at the Red Bull Ring. It's a bit of a bigger grid.
Quite a pack.
I believe Nicholas Kitzbaker races in that as well, so it won't be an entire 2 + 2 = 4, but there'll be some extra guys lining up because they're all on KTM 250 standards there as well, so merging the grids for a nice bumper weekend to get us in motion again after summer.
Well, there is one penalty that we've had dished out to Northern Talent Cup riders. Jonas Kutzerek exceeding pit lane speed limits, so 2 positions grid penalty. Well, starting down now is Kutzerek in 16th position, so did qualify up into 14th. Last time we went racing, Rossi Moore, as Fran mentioned, took the victory from Jakub Gorecki. Jakopo Hoskuch took the final podium position in 3rd. It was quite the finish, wasn't it? With how many riders? 7 riders coming across the line within 1 second of each other, possibly, quite probably, most definitely the best Northern Talent Cup race so far this season.
Please get off the fence. Yeah, it was a really good race, actually, really exciting all around that final lap, and especially, Moore versus Gorecki at the front. It's almost what we expected to see after the pre-season timesheets, but then obviously, like I said, Moore, bit of an up and down start to the season, and then finally got that race win, which I'm sure has imbued him with a little confidence as well. And Lawrence Luciano, he's on a good run this season as well. As you can see, that 1 win, that was the first win of the year before Gorecki did that 4 in a row. Pretty amazing. But Luciano as well, been on the podium most of the time, but barring a couple of blips. I think it was a crash in race 1 at Oschersleben that just took him down. He did manage to get back on, but wasn't quite the same as the rest of his record.
Well, this is the grid then. Rossi Moore takes off from pole position here ahead of Veneman and Hoschuk in 3rd. Famara heads the 2nd row for Kitzbichler, and then Beekman's in 6th. We're going extremely fast here on the grid. Damien Bosenkool takes off from 7th position ahead of Lorenz Luciano. Fran's just been speaking about. Valentino Herrlich takes off from 9th position. No doubts as to who Herrlich's parents' hero will be. Kevin Farkas 10th from Zuda and Molik. Schneider, Willemsen, Olofsson takes off from P15. Kutzerek takes off from P16. Julius Caesar 17th. Tibor Varga in 18th. Of course, Jakub Gorecki, the series leader, from 20th all the way down on the 7th row of the grid.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that for sure. And Stepan Zuda as well, he ended up at the back of the grid after a technical problem in qualifying, I think, in Germany. Managed to ride back through well inside the top 10, so that was impressive stuff from him. See if he can make good progress from 11th today. Kevin Farkas with another who took a big step forward at the Sachsenring to fight in that front group. But yeah, that headline has got to be Gorecki and Kutzerek to an extent, although he was a little bit further forward before that penalty. I don't know what's going to happen in this one now with the weather adding that extra joker into the pack as well.
Well, if you look at the weather charts you got there as well, 6 mile an hour, 11 kilometres, 30 kilometre an hour wind there could aid a drying line around this TT Circuit Assen. You can see just how gentle the riders are applying the throttle out of turn 5. They're probably watching a bit of the Moto E-pole earlier on, and that's not wet. Down into turn 6.
There's some places like you said, we just did the E-pole broadcast together, and when the flag first came out on the TV, I was perfectly dry in Parc Fermé and then got drowned not long after.
I mean, that's
so it's definitely in only patches of the track. It's bone dry. You can even see the shadows as well from the sun as they come round there. So yeah, this is very much a challenge of 2 halves then here, with the patches of wet and patches of really, really dry track.
Well, we say in the Northern Talent Cup's all about learning. How about this? How about this, chaps? Wet tyres on bone-dry track. Enjoy the grip.
But only half.
Yeah, exactly, half of it. I mean, goodness me, this will be spectacular to watch. Right? You don't want to miss a second of this.
It's quite a challenge, isn't it?
Good grief.
So, yeah, we'll have to see then. Obviously, Gorecki, I'm sure, would prefer it to be completely soaked across this TT Circuit Assen with the wet weather prowess that he's shown. But it's going to be a difficult one to judge with confidence as well, if you're really feeling the groove, and then obviously the next part of the track either dry or wetter than you're expecting.
So is Ramshoek wet or dry? That is a question. It looks to me like it's dry.
Looks fairly dry,
Whereas
although that's
outside our
not...
commentary position is completely soaked.
It is. So, yeah, just round here then, through the chicane, you can see there on the runoff, it's shining and it's super wet down there.
So it's almost as if it was over half of the chicane.
It's almost like it personally victimised me in pit lane.
Yeah. Quite right. Or Alessandro Zacconi, as he might contest as well. Here we go then. Northern Talent Cup, round 4, about to get going here. Red flag at the start of the grid. That will depart. Rossi Moore takes off from pole position. Lawrence Veneman in second. Jacopo Hoschuk in third. Jakub Gorecki, keep your eye on the series leader in P20. What awaits over 15 laps, 68 kilometres of racing. Revs will go up. The green flag waves at the back. We're about to go racing. Watch the lights. And off they go! Everybody seeming clearly away. That is the number 6, Jacopo Hoschuk, charging towards the outside line towards turn 1. It's all spray heading down in there. Easily does it, young riders, in towards turn 1. Will they make it all cleanly through? A couple of bumps there as one rider heads off the piste into the beyond the track limits. He'll be joining towards the back of it. Who is that? The number 27, Lawrence Veneman, in first place.
So great start from the Dutchman there. Fantastic qualifying for him on home turf, and yeah, just so confident into that first corner. Great stuff from the number 27, and yeah, like we saw, a little bit less confident there, but obviously meeting these track conditions at this part of the circuit for the first time. A few shuffles, but nothing too dramatic, and that is
your series leader. Jakub Gorecki there, as I was keeping an eye also on Rossi Moore, who's been pushed way back. He is not overly keen on these wet conditions. The number 92 in the background of your picture there, as the number 59 needs rarely any second invitation or anything like that, and towards turn 7. Seriously rapid, already up to 5th.
Yeah, that's incredible stuff then from Gorecki. Really great stuff from the Czech rider once again. He just seems unflappable this year. Really incredible form. At the front though, it's all starting to bunch up. We saw a minute ago Swiss rookie Lennox Famara, after he had to start from the back in Germany and still managed to keep his head on Sunday, take some good points. He's well up there at the moment in these difficult conditions, starting to challenge for that lead, but I think he's just lost out on second. Have to see. Yeah, just about then. So Luciano manages to make his way through on the Swiss rookie, but real group of 4 here at the front.
Group of 4 about to become 6, I reckon, as it looks like young Gorecki is well on the move. Luciano makes a move for the lead at the number 48, just behind him there of Lennox Famara, moves into second place as well. Beekman's just off the back of this one as we come into the GT for chicane for the first time. Careful as you apply the throttle because it gets wet halfway through the chicane.
Yeah, a bit of a challenge for these guys. I mean, it's hard enough, isn't it? We've seen plenty of drama at that chicane throughout the years, and then you can see the spray and you can see how the track's shining with the water on it there in the sun on the main straight. Good news is there is sun on the main straight, so hopefully drying it out a bit, but certainly this part of the track very wet. You can see them all visually a lot more careful, but it's Luciano who retains the lead, and it looks like Gorecki's got past Kitzbaker as well. Yeah,
he has. He's well on the back of this group now. I don't think it'll be much time at all before he tries to make some moves, particularly on the number 48 of Famara there, who, well, in turn goes from 4th to 2nd there, actually, through turn 5. Very impressive indeed from the Swiss rider. Excellent stuff. Down the back straight we come once again then. The number 81 of Lorenzo Luciano leads this one as we head down the dry asphalt onto that section in towards turn 6 and 7.
Yeah, very much so. Luciano there pulling out a few metres as the track gets a bit drier. The Belgian doing a great job so far, but great job as well for Veneman. Really impressive stuff from him. He's only scored a couple of points so far this year, so good to see. And Gorecki then must have lost out to Kitzbaker again somewhere, but he's
just there actually.
Still,
he went
was
up
it
the
just
inside
there?
of turn 8,
I
yes.
looked straight back up and I was like, oh. So yeah, but still, I mean, the donkey's work is really done, isn't it, for the number 59 already, after he'd been way back in the pack, managed to avoid those shuffles in the front group. Job done for now. Now it's all about trying to figure out these track conditions and seeing who has the pace and where, I think.
And keeping an eye on what grip is you getting from your tyres, of course, as we get the glorious curb cam through the ultra-fast turn 12. I mean, those on the dry sections of track, I mean, there's no hiding from it. These are wet tyres on completely dry track. They're going to be chewed to bits in not very long, so it's about that tyre management as well, careful application of the throttle, and now we're about to enter the wet part of the track once again.
That reminds me of a comment that I think you'll appreciate actually. It was in the post Moto 3 press conference at Le Mans, when Riccardo Rossi said he was concentrating so hard on just staying on the bike, he didn't even think about the tyres, and then was watching Philip Salac just take to every puddle possible and really try and cool them off. So that might be an interesting thing that we will see in this race, given there's basically 2 circuits out there in some ways. You see a bit of slicing and dicing then for Beekmans and Goretzky at the moment, but yeah, it's not anyone escaping too much at the moment, although Luciano looking pretty solid in the race lead.
I think it's just such unpredictable conditions is that you don't know how it's going to progress over the next 26 minutes or so of racing here. It could be all changed. It is so wet there coming out of turn 5, isn't it? But then watch as it completely changes, and then the spray all but disappears basically down the back straight. You can see it already. It's basically dry now as they turn into turn 6. Just, I mean, fair play to these young riders. Will learn more here than in a whole championship's worth of racing at some point about riding motorcycles.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually a little bit jealous. The track is already drier than my fringes, and I've been inside in the nice warmth in here.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty crazy, isn't it, here? We can still see outside our commentary position, looking over pit lane, still very much not waterlogged, nothing too extreme. You can still very much tell it's wet down here. But yeah, some patches of really, really dry track. So at the moment, though, not too many dramas. I think the biggest drama we've really had, though, is for Hostruck, who's now down in 16th, it says on the graphic.
And Rossi Moore in P20.
Yeah, it's
yikes.
An absolute tale of 2 halves, isn't it, for Moore and Goretzky, based on when the lights went out to now. They've almost reversed it. Yeah.
Well, I know what Rossi Moore, who's just moved up to P19, will be working on in the summer break. I think he'll be going into some car park, spraying it down with a hose, as we see Goretzky trying to make a move for the podium position. He'll be spraying it down with a hose and just basically sliding around in the wet weather, won't he?
I think probably so, yeah, getting a little more track time in those conditions to make a bit more progress. Obviously in Moto America mini bikes, not too many Northern German and Netherlandish rainstorms to deal with.
Quite. As we see Goretzky dip into the 159s last time around, the best race lap, as he now moves into P2. So this is a very sensible race from Goretzky. Managed to make his way towards the leading group, but then just sitting there biding his time, sussing out the conditions, now working out where he's faster than everybody else and starting to make further moves through the field in towards the front.
Yeah, definitely. I think the main thing he really needed to do was just keep his head, wasn't it? After that disastrous qualifying session, so far down the grid, just get through the first few corners drama-free, which everyone pretty much did. Not sure who it was that headed off on the runoff, which is a little bit extreme. But yeah, other than that, really great job from Goretzky. Just stayed nice and calm, and now he's homing in on the guys in the lead.
Loris Veneman still leads the way in this one from the number 48 Lennox for Mara, but will he make a move up the inside and towards turn 8? Thought about it for a very brief moment in time. I got very confused about the number 27 there with LOR on the fit. It's not often we see the first name used as the 3-digit denomination on our timing screens, but there we go. Lennox for Mara moves up to the inside at turn 9, shifting towards turn 10, and now takes the lead. Love watching the riders with clear visors as well, though, but Jakub Goretzky loves to keep a bit of mystery about himself, doesn't he?
I did enjoy that. With Goretzky has the tinted visor. I think Hostruck for sure did as well on the grid, because especially with the white bike, it looks pretty badass, that combination. But yeah, keeps us guessing then, does the Czech rider. Looks like he's fighting through to second now then. But for Mara as well, really great job from the Swiss rookie to be up here. There's a few standout performances so far this weekend, but he's doing a great job. And a little bit of contact there, I think, almost, but slots back in then to 4th.
Yeah, Goretzky takes the lead then at the final 3 corners. Across the line then from P20 to P1 is your series leader with 140 points then, but he's got company once again from the number 27 of Loris Veneman straight away, but then still maintains the lead as the number 68 moves up the inside as well.
Yeah, so we've got a Dutch 2-3 at the moment then. Really great stuff from the home heroes. It's pretty crazy, they're down in 17th and 18th and 16th now. Hostruck and Moore, the 2 guys that were with Goretzky on the podium the last time these guys raced, just really struggling down there at the moment. But hopefully, as it dries out, maybe they'll be able to make a little bit of progress. But Yeah, at the moment then, it's Home Heroes and Goretzky on a charge, but Luciano doing a solid job. He needs to be in this front group in terms of getting points for the standings. So this little breakaway, it looks fairly solid at the moment. And then once again, Stefan Zuda doing an impressive job on race day.
Well, Fran, I've got to say, though, that lap time there from Zuda, a 1:57.7, that is more than enough to close down that 2-second gap to the lead within literally a singular lap. This rider here is absolutely on a mission.
Yeah,
ahead of the number
definitely.
65 of Bosenkool as well.
Yeah, so really great stuff then from those two. See if they can join this party at the front, which is a little bit closer together now, these guys, aren't they? They've really concertinaed up and looking a little bit feisty.
Oh, wow, who was that? We were on board with Luciano, and wow, Beekman's proper chopped his nose off there, didn't he?
That was quite close, wasn't it? But great shots from the onboard here in the NTC, but maybe a little bit more space, lads, for now. It's not even the last lap
about
yet.
4 abreast? Do you want into Ruskenhoek there? The last Septander is who was that clip in the back of Goretzky? It was the 27 of Veneman, who now wants to make a move for 3rd place as well. But we now have Kitzbaker, the Austrian, in the lead once again then. And this leading group is about to become a leading group of 8, Fran.
It is. They're arriving on the scene, aren't they? Damien Bosenkool and Stefan Zuda. There you can see that bright yellow with the 23. That's Zuda. They're on the march, but these guys not helping themselves if they want to escape at the front. That was unbelievable there.
Yeah.
Tag team attack for the front.
Yes,
but
bumper cars
everyone's
as well.
safely through. And then Veneman then attacking fellow home hero of the number 68 of Kaz Beekmans. And then,
what we're about to see here then, this will be, I think, Lorenz Luciano hitting the back of the number 68 of Cass Beekmans there. Didn't know what hit him, did he? And he looks behind just to check he's still there, probably. And there he is through turn 11. Well, how about it? Down the back straight we come once again then. Kitzbaker in the lead, but for how long? The 68 of Beekmans wants some home glory. What about Goretzky in towards turn 6 and 7? Will he make a move for the lead? Not this time.
Not this time. Just that replay time where I just went with a moment and then we cut away there, but that other replay was definitely more to focus on, wasn't it? Real elbows out we saw from Luciano as well with Hostruck last time out. Bit of a literally at the end of the main straight in Germany, so those guys need to stay calm. Like I said, we're nowhere near the last couple of laps of the race so far. We've got 10 laps to go, so especially with these difficult conditions, they just need to play it a little bit safer maybe and concentrate on not letting the likes of Zuda and Bosenkool into this party at the front, I think, because they've already really tagged onto the back now. Yeah,
Bosenkool and Zuda were in the, well, Bosenkool was in the low 159s and Zuda set the fastest lap on the last time around, a 158.7. But now just biding their time on the back of this group. They've done a little bit what Goretzky did. They've reached the leading group. Now time to bide your time, work out where you are quicker than the other riders. Where can you make some overtakes and then plan the attack and execute it as they come across the line. Once again, it's Luciano in the lead from Goretzky. I really do have flashbacks to Le Mans now, and that start and finish straight, well, the spray has all but gone now, Fran.
Yeah, you can really see the difference, can't you? Even just visually in the picture, you still see a little bit of water on that green paint on the runoff really reflects it well, doesn't it? So you can see there's some there, but these guys really drying off a racing line now, and you can see then a new best race lap from Damien Bosenkool. So he managed to just outdo Zuda last time around then as those guys join this front freight train.
He's just off the back. There is the number 65, fastest last time around, as we look at the number 48 of Lennox Famara there, just looking for a way through in towards 4th position there. That is the 27, Loris Veneman, starting 2nd on the grid. Down the back straight they come once again, side by side, near enough with Kitzbaker, but is that a bit of space I see between Lorenz Luciano and Jakub Goretzky, and the chasing pack could well be. Kitzbaker does not want to let them get away as we tip into turn 8.
Yeah, it does look like a little bit of daylight, doesn't it, for now? But it'd be interesting to see if the pack do, where you can see Kitzbaker then already made up a few meters there to tag back on. But these guys looking pretty confident at the front. I do love how we've got such a clear view there of Lorenz Luciano, just really concentrating.
Oh, Kitzbaker looking up the
that was
inside
a bit of a late lunge, wasn't
Goretzky. Yeah, I mean, that's a great place to do it, especially with the variety of lines you can take on these KTM Mini Moto 3 production machines, but didn't work out down that time around, I don't think.
Don't think it quite did for the Austrian. You can see he's still in third, but looking extremely keen to get past Goretzky, I think, is the number 94. And there's a little bit of chopping and changing back here as well, I think.
Zuda going round the outside of Ruskenhoek, trying to make a bid for P4 then. He's clearly seen those guys trying to make a break, wants to catch on to the back of them, P5 I should say, as, wow, the 27 of Veneman just guards his line perfectly into turn 16.
Yeah, and you can see then Kitzbaker did manage to get past Goretzky. Luciano at the moment, all nice and calm in the lead for the number 81, but it looks like... Now, I thought maybe Goretzky was going to try and fight back there, given who it is in the lead, but not for the moment. And it's as you were as we head round here again, and you can see almost dry again as soon as you get out of that first sort of finish straight and then a couple of corners.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see how the riders end up navigating that in about 6 laps time, 2 laps to go, when their wet tyres will basically be slicks, and then we're having to really tiptoe through turns 1 and 2. That'll be a real measure of control that they have with the throttle there. Still a bit of spray coming out of turn 5. There is Goretzky, just been shuffled back over the last couple of corners. I didn't really see a mistake, but maybe just been beaten up a little bit, as it's still Lorenz Luciano in the lead. Yeah,
and you can see Luciano really nailed that section and just kind of gained a good few meters, and then here
and we're going to see some well, those are some very young herring goals that clearly are not aware of what racing motorcycles can do to them, so they're quickly getting out the way there.
Love the specificity. We do have a wildlife expert on comms today.
Yeah, you can tell from their plumage, Francis.
So Kitzbaker then hits the race lead amongst that feathery drama that we just had, but yeah, Luciano, there's some parts of the track where the Belgian looks pretty untouchable and really does gain quite a few meters, and then you can see through that Kitzbaker just so much stronger and then taking over in the race lead. So there's on the timing screens as well that Mateusz Molik has entered the pits.
Oh, that's a shame for Molik. He was lingering down the order somewhat there, as we keep an eye on, well, the 48. I think that's Lennox Famara at the front now than it is ahead of Lorenz Luciano. Goretzky making a move for third position here, and they've really ditched one of the riders who's fallen off the back. I think it's Beekmans who's just not too far behind then, just only the camera
that angle made it look a little bit more extreme, didn't it? Yeah. But yeah, the number 68 then hanging in there just at the back of this group with Damon Buttoncourt just ahead of him. But Famara then back into the lead, but Kitzbaker, is he going to go through? Not quite, slots back into second place. But yeah, we also should give a quick shout out, get well soon, to Martin Vincher, who is not on the grid. He's ill. Come back soon. We miss you on the grid, and the very best.
Yes, absolutely. As we look at Rossi Moore then, this is the first we've seen of him since the very start of the race. Now in P16, just not looking comfortable whatsoever in these sorts of conditions, unfortunately. Clearly such a talented young fella. Took his first victory last time out in the Saxon Ring in race 2. Now battling with the number 10 there, just behind him, of Hurlish. Well, you got, oh my goodness, you got Valentino Rossi battling with each other, haven't you, on the track there?
Oh dear. I love how much we actually genuinely laughed at that.
It is funny because they're literally named after him. One's got the surname, one's got the first name. I love it.
It is great. So Kitzbaker then back into second place, and looks like Lennox Famara though in the lead, had a few meters himself there, just but I think, yeah, they're going to close down on the Swiss rookie once again pretty quickly here. Zuda as well, he's not made too much progress through this group now. That pace that they had to tag onto the back, just but it makes no sense, you know, to really push through and get in the battle too much. Unless he can really disappear, you just need to arrive on the scene, don't you, and then plan your tactics.
Yeah, well, 7 laps left to go. Well, less than that actually, 6 1/4 laps to go, so we're well beyond half race distance, as they're now trying to go 3 abreast or so into Ruskenhoek and breaking down into turn 16 in a very short amount of time. Now I think as they see the curves on the outside of the track, that's their signal to try the brake as we tip in towards turn 16, 17 and 18, just avoiding the track limits there. And what do you say about Zuda, Fran? He's moved up into 4th now, ahead of Goretzky.
Yeah, good stuff from the number 23 once again then on Sunday, and it's all getting a little bit feisty at the front, isn't it? Luciano really optimistic, but gets it
very
done.
Squirrely on the brakes as well.
Yeah, a little bit squirrely there, and you can see those puddles then still in the runoff area, but the track now, you can really see they're a lot more confident, where it was real tiptoes around part of the track early on. But yeah, it will get interesting now as we get into the latter stages with those wet tyres on those dry parts of the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't envy them one bit. That's why I just get to commentate on these young riders making their way on the road to the Red Bull Rookies Cup and the road to MotoGP as well. That's why we're all here. And yeah, 6 laps to go then. It's Loris Veneman out front just from the number 48 of Lennox Famara. This is quite the performance from young Veneman, who sits where down in the actual standings, fair way down actually. Yes, 24th, so this is by far the best from the Dutchman. Yeah,
it really is. Some home turf magic for him, for sure. And we saw Kitzbaker there just take an incredibly different line and really try and attack back into second, but nothing going for the Austrian there, and he's forced to just settle back into 3rd place for the moment. But yeah, Veneman, really, really great stuff here at the TT Circuit Assen. We do love a home hero shining on home turf, don't we? And he's very much living up to that bill at the moment. I'm sure Cas Beekmans will want to get back into this podium fight at the front of this group and show he's got some as well.
Although Bosenkool and Beekmans both off the back of this group now. It's now a group of 6 as we head towards 5 laps to go, and such a variety of lines and difference in speed for Ruskenhoek there. Who's going to come out of turn 16, 17 and 18 in front? Such a just such a variety of lines, are just all over the place, swapping paint everywhere and lines. My goodness me, who comes across the line first? It's Kitzbaker this time around.
It is, but it looks like the Austrian has already lost the lead then before we head down into the braking zone, and Famara back in the lead of this race. Really impressive stuff from those 2 guys at the front.
I'm really impressed with about everybody for not letting Jakub Gorecki get away. He loves these sorts of uncertain conditions, and he's had a superb race coming through for 20th on the grid on the very first few corners, but since then they've clearly responded. Don't want to let him get away even more.
No, for sure, exactly. You can see then really tight inside line for Luciano around there, and did take over in 3rd. Not sure if he's going to keep it though. I think Veneman thinks otherwise, maybe not. Was that a little bit of a tap? I'm not sure if it was or not.
Could have been, could have been.
Classic follow me, follow me. But at the moment, I think Loris Veneman's the man with the home turf knowledge, and few tips from the number 27 could go a long way.
Yes, I've just seen also on the graphics, Valentino Herrlich set the fastest lap of the race last time around, a 1:57. As you cast your eyes towards the live timing screens, pretty much all the riders inside the top 20 have settled into a pace of between the mid 1:58 to high 1:57. So as riders, well, the main sort of issue is to the riders who, well, for want of a better word, decided they weren't too keen on the conditions in the very start of the race, and but then in fact managed to get used to them eventually. Looking at the likes of Rossi Moore in 16th position as well, also set a 1:57 lap time. That is actually quicker than the leaders at the moment, but unfortunately, how many seconds off the lead? 19. It's going to be way too much for him to catch up at this stage in the game.
Yeah, definitely. So a bit of a damage control job then for the Hungarian down there to try and take some points here this afternoon. So he should be able to at least battle for 1, and depending on if we have any real drama up ahead of him. Oh, speaking of which, that was a little close for comfort there. But it's Gorecki then back into the race lead as we've got 4 laps to go, and it's Beekmans who's the fastest man on track, and those 2 who had just started to look a little bit like stragglers at the back have really caught these guys up again.
Yeah, not just that, as you say, the fastest lap of the race so far. So Beekmans and Bosenkool have really responded. There they are, the numbers 68 and 65 right at the back of this group. Loris Veneman Bish pushed back somewhat into 6th position as we've now got Lennox Famara out front, Kitzbaker 2nd, Jakub Gorecki in 3rd. Is this the time when the tone of the race changes with 3.5 laps to go or so, and the riders decide, well, I've got the pace, actually I'm going to clear off out front, thank you very much.
Yeah, very possibly. Although Gorecki in race 1 at the Sachsenring, if you've not seen it, spoiler alert coming up, he would just put in a tactical masterclass, really. Kept a little bit in hand, and then as soon as we headed on to the final lap, the number 59 really pulled the pin and just managed to stay clear of all of the battle for 2nd and 3rd behind him, and took that win. Have to see. I'm not sure if he's got a similar pace here as he did show in Germany, especially given the tough conditions. It's a little bit harder to find that limit out here. And at the moment then, the Czech rider very much being contained there in third place. Those guys really not wanting to let him through.
Yeah, the big problem he's got was definitely in the form of Kitzbaker and then Lennox Famara out the front there. They took a superb line through turns 9 and 10. What about this ultra-fast back section, though? This is the last real true old part of the TT Circuit Assen, the real cathedral of speed. Such a beautiful ribbon of tarmac as they go 4 abreast into Ruskenhoek there. This is getting into the closing stages of this race, and it's just absolutely no holds barred as we clock down into these final laps. Famara heads into the final set of corners in first position. Kitzbaker just behind him. Goretzky's been pushed way back in those final sets of corners. Zuda well on the move. I'm going to say that's my pick for the win, Fran.
Really? Wow, okay. We're doing predictions then, are we?
Here we go.
Yeah, I'm really not sure at the moment. There's so many different parts of the track where different riders look a little bit stronger, and now we've got Luciano back at the head of this train as well. Good stuff from the Belgian to still be in touch, but I think at the moment Kitzbaker and Famara are looking really, really solid here, but maybe a little bit less experience of fighting for that podium for both of them, which may be interesting in just under 3 laps time.
Luciano took such an inside line there through turn 5. I don't understand why, really, because he lost so much speed, but then again didn't actually lose any positions either. Came out of there, not seemingly lost much drive either, so clearly worked out something there. And how about that? I mean, better late than never, but Rossi Moore finally comfortable with these positions. And what did I say, Fran? What did I say? It's Zuda out front here for the first time. How about it?
We've got a couple of laps to go, but yeah, really great performance then from the number 23. I think he was 11th on the grid, was he not? Just outside the top 10, but yeah, managed to move up to catch this group and then really looking strong at the moment. And I will be interested to see then if he's made that move because he does think he can pull that pin a little bit, or if he's just thinking, well, I will take my turn at the front and then see how the cards shuffle in the next couple of laps.
Well then, let's see what the slipstream does to him in this back section then. 2 1/4 laps to go of this Northern Talent Cup race. He evades a slipstream though, doesn't he? Or did he sacrifice a lot of drive there? Maybe he had a bit of a moment because he's just been overtaken by Lorenz Luciano and Kitzbaker going up the inside of Ruskenhoek. But will he cape the ultra-fast outside line? He does. But Luciano, that was a fantastic set of couple of corners. Who's that on the inside there? That's Loris Veneman. Says, I want a piece of the action once again. This is my home race. The home crowd are here. They've still stuck it out to watch here in the Northern Talent Cup. 2 laps to go. Lorenz Luciano out front. Zuda in second. And then Loris Veneman, the local rider, in third. But for how long?
Here we go then. This is the dress rehearsal lap for those final bits of tactics that these guys want to get pretty clear. Obviously here it's not really a slipstream battle to the line at all. It's all about that final get to a chicane. So who is your money on still, Zuda?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not so sure. These 3 guys at the front, they're looking very, very strong at the moment. Veneman as well. And here you can see Luciano switching back to that much wider sweeping line there that earlier on really, yeah, you can see there, really gained him a few meters, and the Belgian's done that again now.
Yeah, absolutely nailed it. But what about the slipstream down the back straight then for the penultimate time here? This has been a fantastic Northern Talent Cup race. It's really got into a groove of highly competitive racing for the front here. This is what we want to see in these talent programs. Absolutely excellent stuff. Kitzbaker not giving a quarter to Goretzky or whoever that was in turn 7 and towards turn 8 as he goes up the inside of, who was that? I think that's Lennox Famara.
Yeah.
It was, yes, Famara up the inside there as we come down to now towards turn 9. Zuda looking up the inside of Veneman, but not quite making a move.
Yeah, that was a pretty close battle there, wasn't it? You could almost see the moment where Kitzbaker was like, yeah, and then no, yeah, and just stuck it in there. But a great race from the Austrian again, and from Famara. Really impressive stuff from him. Zuda then just losing out a little bit there, but I don't know, it's too tough to call at the moment, isn't it? And Veneman still, right to the end of this race, has retained that qualifying form.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about that slipstream though for some of these guys neck and neck, and Ruskenhoek for the penultimate time. Here we go then. Who's going to be the last of the late breakers? This is the dress rehearsal, as you mentioned then, Fran. Kitzbaker looking up the inside of Lorenz Luciano. The last of the late breakers nails the line there. But what about the drive towards the line? This is the dress rehearsal. Looks like if Kitzbaker managed to nail it that time around, if he repeated that Next time, well, he could take the win. But look at this, Luciano heading into turn 1 on this final lap in first place. What about Goretzky back in the fight as well? He shuffles Suda back now.
He does indeed. So there you can see Kitzbaker was the fastest man on that lap, which also makes sense when he's gone from slightly further down the pack to in the lead over the line as well. Great stuff from the Austrian still. Veneman then looking like he wants to try and attack for the podium as well, but
Zuda's got another idea.
Straight back.
It's the Lorenz Luciano line. Will it sacrifice his drive down the back straight? Goretzky tried to make the same move as well, but Luciano looking superfluous out front. Is it too late to change my prediction?
Yeah, you can see Goretzky there almost had Zuda a little bit in his way. Maybe he wasn't expecting the number 23 to be there. Luciano, like you said, looking pretty solid in the lead at the moment, but we've seen those meters close down so
Zuda
quickly.
Just touching the knee, I think, of Kitzbaker there. What about turn 8? Kitzbaker up the inside. Will he take the lead and keep it, though, from Luciano?
I think he's done it, the Austrian at the moment. We're pretty much side by side. It's so hard to tell from these angles. No, at the moment then, it remains the Belgian in the lead.
Wow, oh, what a wide line that was for Kitzbaker. It's almost too wide. He's off the track, beyond track limits. He can't get an advantage on that, for all he'll lose it. It's Lorenz Luciano still leading the way. Oh, who was that off the back?
I think it's Kitzbaker,
No,
yeah.
disaster for the 94.
Yeah, it was. So you could see just really eager to get straight back in that battle, and then off the other side of the track for the Austrian. Nevertheless, a great race, but here we go then. It's the final showdown. Money still on Zuda?
Yeah, could well be. Or is it on Luciano? Or is it on Veneman for home glory? Or what about the leader, Goretzky? One set of corners to go. It's the GT chicane, the classic. Zuda goes in the lead. Will he get the victory, though? Goretzky just behind him. Zuda leads out of the final corner. Luciano just behind him, neck and neck. Oh, Luciano nicks it. He nicks it just at the line. What about it? And what sportsmanship is that? Seconds later, and he gets a congratulations from the guy he just beat.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that was really nice stuff there, wasn't it, from Stefan
So
Zuda? Just like, oh, well done.
I've never seen that before in my life. Rossi Moore comes across the
Fantastic
line in
stuff.
ninth.
Yeah, that's a great ride back then for the number 92 tonight. We saw he's the fastest man on track for a little while there, and it really closed down that gap. But, oh, what do we unpick about that final chicane? Are we definitely sure this is how it's going to stay? We had so many of them. Bit of a shuffle in that final chicane. Who was definitely inside track limits? They were all neck and neck over the line. This man, though, I think it is very safe to say is the race winner of this one. Back on the top step after a bit more of a muted Sunday at the Sachsenring, just in the top 5. Good wheelie as well.
Wow, that's quality. Down the back straight, very nice.
Yeah.
Been working on that, hasn't he? In preparation for this exact thing.
And then, yeah, like we said, that man there, the number 23 of Stefan Zuda, really impressive sportsmanship, but a really impressive race from him.
Yeah.
Obviously with a slightly better qualifying, although nothing incredible. Just, I think he was 11th on the grid, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Just outside that top 10, but really made great progress. He used his pace to grab this group and then wouldn't let go, fighting his way to the front. Fantastic stuff from him. And Goretzky, what can you say? Another podium.
Yeah, here is the final corner once again then. So Zuda leads into the final turn 16, 17 and 18. Goretzky keeps it in track limits. And, oh, who's that? So that is the 68 of Beekman's going beyond the track limits. Here's what happened then. I think everybody else stayed in track limits,
actually. Yeah, I think
they
did. Yeah, I was a little bit concerned about Goretzky on the inside. But no, it was really, really clean through there for the Czech rider when we see that replay. So really good stuff from all of them. Beekman's a little bit unfortunate, just got elbowed out on that outside there. So we'll have to see if we do get confirmation of the final results being as we see them on the screen.
Quite right. Well then, Lorenz Luciano, second win of the season, 5th podium of the season. Jakub Goretzky, that is actually unfortunately his worst result of the year. Time to retire.
I was going to say, 3rd place, absolutely terrible.
It's just been 1st or 2nd for the entire season so far. That is why Luciano is not in the lead. I think any other series, any other championship would actually be leading the series with a record like this.
Goretzky's been a real standout rider in sort of the programs on the road to MotoGP. You'd probably pick out Goretzky certainly in the NTC, and then Danny Holgado in Sev and rookies as well. He's been strong. And then Asia Talent Cup, we had Tayo Furusato doing a clean sweep as well. So there's some real standouts in these cups at the moment. but Luciano did manage to get some points back after that dominant run. So I'm sure he'll be happy with that, as well as the taste of victory.
No, yeah, absolutely. You can see it there. And Zuda's helper particularly coming, giving a huge hug there in Parc Ferme. 11th to 2nd and almost won it. How about that?
And 20th to 3rd as well, to be fair. Let's not forget where Gorecki did start on the grid.
He did, well, 20. He went 20th to the leading group in 5 corners pretty much,
didn't he? To be fair,
he
did. He made quick progress and calm progress. And I think all of these guys will be pretty happy with their day's work, to be honest. Really good races from all of them. Solid results. Good shake of the hand there.
2 Czech riders and a Belgian on the podium. Here is the final corner once again then. 3 abreast in. And then a very organised line out.
Yeah, you can see Gorecki, he was close, wasn't he? But he just managed pretty much four abreast, weren't they, for 3rd place. But the Czech raider of the Lost Ark, just managing to keep that 3rd place, and very cleanly too. So great stuff from him.
Wow, yeah, that was absolutely superb. What a preview that was for tomorrow's race as well. Race 2 of the Northern Talent Cup, round 4.
When hopefully we'll have an entirely dry or wet track.
That would be quite nice, wouldn't it? I mean, yes, how exciting to see. Wow, just breathless after that. Exhausted, gonna need a good night's sleep following that one. Zuda's first podium in the Northern Talent Cup this year then. Really breathing it all in, isn't he?
It's great to see, isn't it? 3 very happy people down there in Parc Ferme.
To be fair, 2 sets of 8 points coming away from the Saxon Ring last time out.
And that was from 24th, I think, on the grid as well.
Yeah, it's been coming from Zuda. That's some improvement.
Pace. So,
and how Dutch is that? A marshal just cycled down the track the wrong way on one of those bikes. The track is clear now, obviously.
There's more. Here they go.
Yeah. And
should we commentate on that as well? Or?
Yes, we could do.
I've done a truck at it was a bus at Portimao during a mic test earlier in the year.
There was a bus. There were many buses at Austin a few years ago. At the obviously when we used to go to America. We are going to go there again this year, so that's nice.
Just had a bit of a heart attack that was a spoiler that we'd not released yet then.
But there you go. Jakub Gorecki poses for a final photo. P3. We'll get the podium fairly soon. You're not announcing that, are you? I guess then.
I've been told no.
Well, there we go. Oh, no, that's not right. Kitzbaker definitely didn't win.
Definitely, of all the people, unfortunately for the Austrian, it was a very impressive race, but he was very outside of track limits.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So even the most dramatic of the dramaticest last laps possible, I'm afraid to say, would not leave the Austrian on top. Hopefully then we'll get the full rundown of the results soon.
There is Stepan Zuda, getting ready to go out onto the podium at a Grand Prix venue for the first time. Must be always a special moment, isn't it, for any rider?
You can see the Pony Express logo there on the leathers. I'm disappointed that's not the name of the team. Also, we've got Gorecki out already then.
Yeah, there you go, Zuda, the number 23, out in P2. 2 Czech riders, and then the Belgian, who took victory once again. 2nd time this season. High fives all round. Oh, wow, what a race that really was. Going to be pretty special, listening to his national anthem as well very shortly. This is close as he will get to a home race. Probably, geographically speaking.
Yeah, unless we send the NTC to Spa, I guess.
Yeah, don't think so. Not for the moment. There you go, 2nd place trophy to Zuda. I'm very happy with that. The thing I like about these, you can put those in your hand luggage.
Always thinking of the practicalities.
Whereas rookies and other ones, you need a whole new suitcase.
Yeah.
And it costs about €50 in pandemic times to get a suitcase that you didn't anticipate bringing on board. So then, how about it? The winner's trophy then goes to Lorenz Luciano. Time then for his national anthem. Always a special moment, particularly at the Cathedral of Speed. Well then, special moment for Lorenz Luciano from Stepan Zuda and Jakub Gorecki then on the podium here. Tomorrow we get underway once again at 4:30 local time. How awesome will that be? Hopefully in the dry, Fran.
Hopefully in the dry, yes. And for Moto E, which will precede it once again. So yeah. Great race today then, and now you can see
it's
the winner.
Not Kitzbaker in P1, it is in fact Lorenz Luciano, P1 from Zuda. This is completely wrong, so I'm just going to read it from my timing screens. I've no idea how they've got that. Is that like FP3 or something? But Kitzbaker did not win. Luciano, Zuda, Gorecki, Veneman, Beekmans, Bursenkool, and then Famara in 7th place. Kitzbaker was in fact 8th. Let's get a look at the highlights then. And Rossi Moore started from pole position with Hostruck in 3rd place, but that was the last moment that we really saw them out front. They fell back, but found their pace eventually towards the end of the race. And this was the last time that we saw the completely sopping wet line throughout the first part of the circuit. It was as dry as this part of the track for there on in, pretty much after a few laps. And it was all about the tyre management, basically, and the battle at the front, incredibly intense as well. There was your winner, eventual winner, Lorenz Luciano. I didn't even see that move, did you?
I'm not sure I remember that from the race.
Goodness me, that was huge.
It really was. So there's quite a bit of, some elbows out in this group at the front. And there you can see 2 guys who ultimately wouldn't end up on the podium. 3 guys, in fact. But they really did feature in this battle at the Cathedral. Great stuff from Famara, Kitzbaker and Veneman. But I think we're on board with Luciano here as it got pretty close. But the Belgian and the number 23 of Stepan Zuda, and that man there as well, Gorecki, of course, they really did make their presence felt.
Yeah, absolutely. As they come across the line, taking the win. Join us tomorrow.